What up, y'all? It's been a while. How y'all doing? Anyway, had to use the restroom, so I went to Target, which is close by to where I go for my run. And yeah, today's Thursday, and I'm hoping to see my daughter tomorrow. She'll spend the night. What I do this morning, I woke up, I washed my shoes. I don't know if you guys follow my Instagram. These look a lot cleaner now. Washed them, dried them. Left my house around 12, and I came over here to run. I ran 5 miles. I ran up the hill twice, and then I walked it once. And got myself some protein, like a protein shake, and some sort of green shake. I don't really think that place is all natural where I get it from. Probably my last time getting it. It's kind of expensive, so. And then we have yeah, I haven't smoked because I didn't have a blunt wrap, and that's what I'm about to do right now. My pace, my fastest pace ever was 7 minutes and 20 seconds, which was yesterday for 5 miles. So every mile it said I had an average of 7 minutes and 20 seconds. I mean, obviously there was some where I ran like longer, you know. It just averaged out to that. That was my best average pace, you know. So today I felt super slow. Even some of the areas where I was running, I was like literally kind of trotting only, and my pace was still at 7 minutes and 27 seconds. And I don't believe I had any full mile that took me 8 minutes to run. So I'm like now averaging about 7 minutes and a half for sure a run per mile. And I think I had probably a 7-minute 40-second run today. I'm just trying to figure out something to talk about. Yeah, so I guess it was a decent run, and yeah, it was a decent run, and I'm gonna smoke right now and have another video to edit, another rap video, I guess, that I made last night to edit. I didn't like the way I looked because when I was editing the video, I actually had the flash on, that little light, and it was kind of making my pupils look red and evil. So I kind of don't like it, so I'm probably gonna change the video, maybe put some sort of filter on the film. Should be charging my phone since it's on. But you know, now that I'm single, there's so many beautiful women. So many beautiful women when I go hiking, and they're like a motivation. If you guys don't follow boxing, there's 4 really popular young fighters right now. They're like early 20s. One's Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is pretty much the undisputed champion. He has all the belts except one that Devin Haney has, but Devin Haney didn't fight for it, so I could see why they're kind of going back and forth on if he's really undisputed but he's undisputed, you know. He has all the titles, you know. And so then there's Gervonta Tank Davis, who I believe is a champion at 130, maybe 135, I'm not sure. And then you have obviously Ryan Garcia, who's the most popular one when it comes to followers on Instagram. And these guys are all making money, man, for their age, and they're all like capitalizing off of, you know, social media. And Mike Tyson has his Hot Boxing podcast, and for some reason he's only been like showing these fighters, you know, and these fighters are pretty cool, man. It's interesting to see that now that we have these podcasts, it's kind of like, I don't know, we're getting more in depth into who these fighters are. And why did I bring that up? I can't remember why I even brought this shit up, but yeah, I don't know why I brought this shit up at all. But it's pretty interesting if you like boxing and you want to get to know who these young fighters are, and they like talk trash to each other, and it's pretty interesting and exciting, you know. I can't remember why I brought that up. But, so yeah, I'm tired. I'm pretty low on energy right now. This blunt's probably gonna just smack me even more, but it's okay. Supposed to go buy some rope. I'll probably go get some rope from a 99-cent store a little bit later. But yeah, I'm supposed to see my daughter tomorrow. I want to get some. Supposed to go to the market. That way I have stuff for her tomorrow. But depending if her mom has like an appointment, she'll probably want me to pick her up early in the morning. Probably like around 10 or something. If I pick her up at 10, maybe we'll just go to the market right away. Oh yeah, but back to the women. There's okay. So one of these fighters named Devin Haney. I'm not sure where he's from. I think he's from Las Vegas. You know, he trained there. He trained everywhere. I watched that interview, Mike Tyson and Devin Haney. I watched them as they were made. Like Ryan Garcia was the first guy to be on Mike Tyson after he had his spectacular victory. And then second was Teofimo Lopez. He talked smack to Devin Haney. And then Devin Haney came on. Now I'm waiting for Gervonta Tank. I honestly think Gervonta Tank is probably, I don't know. I think he's the most dangerous out of all of them, in my opinion. Is he the better boxer? I don't know. But the most dangerous with the most power is probably Tank. So I don't know. These are all interesting, you know. Tank's the oldest. He's about 25. But Devin Haney, I know why I brought these fighters up because Mike Tyson, you know, Mike Tyson tries to help out a lot of these people, you know, because Mike Tyson's life's a trip, you know, because all these fighters like, oh, I looked up to you, Mike, and like, and Mike, he's accepting like this is his role and the praise that he gets. You know, he doesn't feel like he should even have all that like love that people give him, and that love might even be, you know, just true, but you know, like Mike said, you always want to get to the level of like, I want my favorite fighters to know who I am. I want to be on their level, like respected, you know. So, competitive guy, you know, you're gonna pay your respects. But if you're a competitor, you're like, man, I want to be better than you, you know. So Mike has to constantly deal with his past, but he's accepting it because he knows that his journey and story is helping out all these young fighters now. Like they're telling him, you know, you were a trailblazer, you know. You were the first one, you know, and now the youngsters are benefiting, you know, off of the mistakes that Mike went through, you know. But seeing that Mike's able to have some sort of redemption is a beautiful thing. But I could just imagine everything like all this stuff, you know, him having to continue to deal with his past. So, but he tries to help the young bucks out. He tells them, you got to get your money. I know you don't want to fight just for the money, but yeah, you got to make sure you're getting paid. And you know, Devin Haney is actually the one that actually has his own promotional company, you know. So he has his own contracts with, you know, DAZN to air him on their, you know, on their platform, you know. So I guess he lives in Miami, but you know, he trained with Mayweather. He you know, he trained with Zab Judah, and Mayweather is like a mentor to Devin Haney, and you know, so Devin Haney doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, you know. Mayweather never did that. He stayed disciplined. So he's following that, which is a great thing. And Devin Haney he lives in Miami right now. And Mike Tyson was telling him, hey, it's kind of hard to be motivated when you're living so well, when you're living in Miami and like, you know, it's so beautiful. But Devin Haney says like, well, that's what motivates me when I'm running through the street and I see these beautiful women, and you know, like that's what makes you want to go faster. And like it kind of does. Like when I'm running on the street, like and you see people. There's instances where like a car wants to make a right turn and like they know I'm running and I need to like hurry up, so I go faster in those instances. And when there's a lot of cars like maybe stop because it's a red or green light, you know, it's maybe traffic hour, and I'm like, oh, okay, shit. So that makes me go a little faster. And most definitely when I see a group of beautiful women, one beautiful woman, I tend to just push myself, like, you know. And so I understand what Devin's saying, you know. I only smoke weed, you know. But I also understand that point of like if you're always comfortable, you're never gonna try to push yourself forward. So yeah, it's dope, man. It's interesting watching those, and these guys are all like, you know, except Gervonta Tank Davis, you know, that's, you know, God has a plan for him, but you know, he has his mama, but he never knew his pops, and you know, his mom was kind of like a party girl. She was a young mother, you know. And but Devin Haney, you know, he has his father, you know, who's like his main dude, you know, guiding him. And then you have Teofimo Lopez, he has his father. And then you have Ryan Garcia, he has his mom and his father, who play a big part in this whole spectacle that's going on in boxing. So these guys all come from great family backgrounds and stuff, you know. And except I would say Gervonta, you know, he has major love from his city though, Baltimore. You know, they're behind him to the fullest, which is a beautiful thing. So I like, you know, I agree with all that, but you know, that's how I thought about that. Like, yeah, you know, when I'm running right here, and you know, I love it. I love when the women look and they see me pushing myself and I'm sweaty, and you know, so I get that. I even heard this from Mike on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think it was the first time he was on there, he was smoking, and the second time he was on there was to promote his fight against Roy Jones. He wasn't smoking, so he was more on edge. You could tell. He was more. It was more like thin skin, you know. Some bickering going on over there. But anyway, hopefully they're good. So Mike Tyson had said this, like, you know, you could run on the treadmill and stuff, but there's no high like running out into you know, running out in the street. There's nothing like when you're in the street running. There's no other better. It's way better than like just being in a gym running on the treadmill. Even when I used to go to like the LA Fitness when it was open, I loved on the treadmill, and like I would run like when. I'll be honest, when there was when the women would walk into the gym, I would run like right there where I would see them come. I wouldn't intentionally do that, but like sometimes it would be packed and I would have to be in that position, and that's just the position the treadmills were facing, so you could always see people come in, who was coming in, who was leaving. It was weird because there was this really beautiful like receptionist that would check me in, and I used to kind of like, she was the one I kind of crushed on because I would see her every day, and what was her name? It might have been Ashley. But she had long, beautiful, straight hair. She had like the shoes that were in, you know, like I don't got shit, but she had like the Air Maxes, and you know, she had like dope shoes. You know, she looked cute. She always covered like her butt, so I never really seen how her butt looked. But she used to see I would always like be kind of shy with her. Sometimes I would just like, I'm not gonna even like. I was, you know, I walk in some days like, fuck it, why try to be nice to her? She doesn't give a fuck about me, or not that I would be mean to her, just like, you know, like, I don't know, kind of just be, you know, standoffish or whatever. The other day I posted a video right here in front of the McDonald's about a guy who looked like an old Hispanic dude, looked like he was sleeping in his car. And now, I think the guy that was in that white van was yelling. They were yelling at each other. So it was one guy in a white van pulled up next to a guy in a gray car, which I think that gray car is that car that I filmed the other day, because I noticed the old man was sleeping in there. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, maybe the drugs or something. I don't know, just, they were pretty much arguing pretty good, but like they knew each other or something, but so I gotta get the weed up. Yeah, her name is Ashley, and you know, like I do, like when I come, I run, you know, I bust my ass, and then, you know, I go home, you know. Or at the time I did. When I was going to the gym, I would go home. No, I would go to the gym. I would run on the treadmill for like 30 minutes if I could. Well, if I went during the day, I couldn't hit the punching bag because the punching bag at LA Fitness They have it in the place in the like the dance hall, like the wood floors with the mirrors, at LA Fitness. They had the punching bags in there, and a lot of times before 9 o'clock, they always had classes. So at 9 p.m., they would shut the lights off and let anybody go in there, practice their dance moves. Like, you know what I mean? It was open, and I could hit the punching bag, stuff like that, jump rope, look in the mirror. So if I went during the day, like right after work, I would get to like at 4. I would play football. I'm not football. Like I said, I'd try to do 30 minutes of running at least, which was like only 3 miles at the time. And just to get a good sweat, And then I would, from there, I would play basketball. I would get a good sweat playing basketball. There was even times I started only playing basketball. And if the games were good and I didn't have to wait or we were winning and stuff, then I would like keep playing to get my workout there. But if it was kind of slow, then I'll go make sure I got my run in. And I felt like she knew I was like had a crush on her because I always kind of just couldn't help but just admire her beauty, And even when I was up on the second level on the treadmill and she would like be on the reception level, I just felt like connection in a sense. But maybe she just would always notice that I was looking at her, And but I knew I knew what kind of car she had, and she had like an X5, the big one. Like my stepdad has an X1, she has an X5, and like one time I did strike a conversation with her because I had a friend with me, and we were talking, and he was like the one that kind of opened the conversation up. And I think I had asked her age. I think she was only like 23 at the time, which this was almost like a year ago or 2. So she's like 6 years younger than me. But she had an X5 and she worked there, and I'm like, dude, I was so curious, like, how does she have this money? Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, one time when I was leaving, because I had to obviously leave, like pass by her, and then she's like, "Oh, where are you going?" Or she said, "What did you do?" or something. Like she opened up the conversation with me. I didn't know what the hell to say, So if any guy watches this, like next time, just like if the girl that you like or something opens the conversation with you, like don't let that moment slip, Just say like, just have a normal conversation. Like, yeah, I just run on the treadmill. And then I think I had asked her nervously, like, oh, do you work out? Do you work out here? She's like, not here. Then I could have easily said, okay, well, where do you work out? And then keep talking, and then maybe just give her with a compliment, like, you're so beautiful. And then or like, you ever want to go hiking? Because I was going hiking at that time too. I would go hiking too. I loved going hiking. And I could have just invited her, And then COVID happened. And I remember like that when COVID was really popping off, it was kind of raining at that time, but I was still going to the gym. I think I deleted the video, but I shot like 100 free throws, and like it was leaking. The roof to that gym was leaking, and I was just getting back into basketball heavy again, and then COVID happened, and then they closed the gym. I remember the last day I was there, I was just in the morning shooting baskets, trying to get better, and then COVID. And I wonder what she's doing. I wonder if she's okay. I'm curious how she could afford that X5. Maybe her family owned the gym. I don't know. She was a beautiful young lady. I've been going to that gym for like years, and I remember there was another another receptionist before her, and this was probably like years before that. This was like 7-8 years ago. And I remember this girl. She said I reminded her of her dad, so I think her dad, like, I think she had like a tough childhood. I think she was raised by like family members and stuff. And she was thick. She had a very nice behind, She had a pretty face, and she was a really cool chick. And when I first met her, she just seemed like a very like cool chick that like just was like nice, because she worked. Okay, was she the receptionist? At the time, I think she worked where they sold like fucking smoothies and stuff. That's how I got to know her, and like when I got to the gym, I was already sweaty and stuff. And like I used to run to the gym, which is probably like, I want to say close to 5 miles. I used to literally run from where I live to a different city to the gym. I get that I was already sweaty and I would either like play basketball. At that time, I was even trying to swim. I was just trying to be at the gym. Well, I was even doing weights too, but mostly just like lower body stuff because I wanted my lower body to be stronger. And so she like would walk by me, and then we got kind of affiliated. And then I was like, oh, I gotta go. And then like I would walk home. I would literally walk all the way home from the gym because there was no bus. Sometimes I would run, but I would kind of walk. And then she like took me home a couple times. And one time she took me home, and I think she wanted to go inside my house. I ain't gonna lie. I think I could if I would have played it differently at that time. I think I would have been able to like experience a moment with her, you know, like a sexual moment. No, I would have loved to, you know. The relationship kind of ended kind of bad, and it could have been because she thought I didn't want to have sex with her. And as I got to know her, I think she was a little damaged. I think she told me something about when she was younger, like she like I don't know, but she said I reminded her of her dad, and like he must have had tattoos too. You know, he must have been kind of a wild guy at that time because I was like 23. I was kind of a I mean, I feel like I was running to the gym 5 miles, still staying there for like an hour or two, going. I had so much energy. I guess I still kind of do, but and yeah, it would have been nice to be able to. But I didn't have no confidence, you know. I didn't have enough confidence. Even another girl who was it was like this was in high school actually. I think when I met her, I was still partying. I think she was a senior in high school, and I think I was a year out of high school. So at this time, I was in the streets. I was not like gangbanging or nothing, but I was doing graffiti. I was, you know, partying every day. Was like, we don't have no money. We only have like, okay, let's try to scrounge up some money. We can't go steal no weed from nobody. We got to buy that shit from somebody. But we could steal beer, so we would go steal beer. You know, just have a 30 pack or like still two of them for the homies. We had like always like 10 homies at the homie's house trying to kick it and trying to get girls. And so we waiting for the weekend to come. We go party. And I had a buddy of mine. It was one day after a party, like at an after party, where these two chicks were like posted outside my homie's car. My homie was in the driver, and they were like in his window. They were talking to him like they knew him really cool. And like when I introduced myself, they gave me fake names. And one girl, she gave me a fake name. I was like, oh, you guys are fucking with me, blah, blah. That's how we kind of opened the conversation. And then it would kind of just, I think I walked away, and they were still trying to get me to still talk to them. And long story short, like, I don't know, the homie hit me up. I don't know if it was over social media, if it was over a phone call. Hey, the homegirl that you met that day, she doesn't have nobody to go to, like one of her dances or whatever. So I ended up going with her. And after that, like, there was a time where, like, she invited me over her house, and there was nobody there, bro. There was nobody there. I don't know if she was, like, on a day off or, I don't know, school that day. But I was in her house, and, like, man. I think she has a kid now, and I think she might be married and stuff. But, man, she's still beautiful, but, you know, we get older, you know. She was beautiful, man. I just was too afraid, you know. I was too afraid. So don't be afraid, man. Sometimes you gotta read the signs. You gotta know, you know. And treat them well. You don't gotta treat women bad. I guess that's when I had my hair and I looked nice, you know. I was also kind of cool back then. Like, I had always had people calling my phone wanting to hang out with me and stuff. So I felt like somebody, you know. I felt cool. For the first time in my life, I felt like somebody, you know. So, come on, shit. Oh, man. Here we go. So, 2 blunts again. Yeah, just break it. I hate that. But yeah, I remember those days. There was a couple times I had opportunities with girls. I just kind of always fumbled. guess I'll still try to roll this second one up. Might as well. It's already there. There you go. I miss that friend. The guy that knew that girl that wanted me to go to that dance with her. I miss that guy. He's pretty cool. We haven't really been close since like me and his friend and I got into a fight. And I felt like he set me up because I don't know. I just felt like he set me up. Like I don't feel that way now, but at the time, at the moment, I felt like he set me up because, like, when the guy called me out in the fight, we're over this now. The guy and I. What had happened was, after high school, I attended university, a local university in the city. And the dude had a girlfriend in high school, on and off, you know, and we knew through social media, it's MySpace or whatever, hanging out with the guy, seeing him with that girl. You know, but it was a young relationship. So I guess they had broken up or whatever. And I've been around them when they had like pretty bad fights and stuff, where they were like, no, I think she didn't want to be with the guy no more. He was pretty an angry dude, you know. He was like kind of like, at that time he was kind of going through whatever he was going through. He was like kind of a troubled kid, you know. He was like a year younger than me, I think. But he was kind of somebody like, he was a big kid, you know. You were kind of afraid of him. You know, he had like fast cars and stuff, you know. He was kind of the, I don't know, he was who he was, you know. So I guess he kind of got upset because, so he was already done with that girl and stuff. And I would see her at the university and she would like stare at me and say hi to me, and like I'll say hi to her. And on social media one day she hit me up and she wanted to hang out. But like an idiot, I should have picked her up to go do something else, you know. I should have. Who knows if she was like kind of like being a bad person and kind of just like only using me to maybe piss him off. Like I have no idea. I have no clue. Like he wasn't my friend, and like I didn't have the confidence to like try to run game on her, to try to like sleep with her. I didn't have no confidence like that. But I just said, fuck it, like, oh shit, like. So I took her to like a party where everybody knew each other and it was kind of like bad. So I guess word got back to him. So I don't know the space and time between that party and another party I went to. But I just know when, I guess, him and his friend showed up, like the look that he gave me, I was like, oh shit, this guy. It seems like he doesn't like me or whatever. So I guess they kind of got settled in the party, and then like the guy, like, he called me out to the front, and I was like, oh shit. And when I got to the front, I seen him and all his friends. And at this time, when he told me to go to the front, I went right away, and I didn't even gather up my friends, you know. I was like, fuck. So I just walked to the front, and yeah, that is that old man. He was getting yelled at by that guy. I don't know if that guy like drove the wrong way or do they know each other, but they got into like an argument. But so when I got to the front of the house, like the front yard or the front street, you know, I seen all those friends, so I got nervous. So as soon as the guy, like, he was walking away from me, I set it off right away. Like I was so scared, I attacked him right away. So when he tried to take off, like, I guess he tried to take off his hat and stuff, I just fucking cracked him in the back of the head. Boom. And that's when it, like, after I cracked him, I was ready to attack whoever was next. But I noticed they weren't really ready to fight. So I was like, oh shit. So when I cracked him, I think I even swung at like whoever was like behind me, or whoever. As soon as I turned around, I see somebody had swung, And that's when my buddy of mine like tried to hit some other dude, and then they swung my buddy, and then like everybody started fighting, and then um, this fight just ended, and then I kind of like said some kind of stuff like I told him like pretty much F you and all your friends, like, and then I had the homie right there. I thought was my friend. He's like, he tried to keep it cool with me, but at that time I was just heated. I was drunk. I was heated. And I just like fuck you and all your friends, pretty much. Like, so then I kind of like messed up our relationship. So I kind of thought he was like, bro, how you on? Like, bro, like, you should have told him, hey, don't fight them. They don't even talk no more. They don't. You should have told him just leave James alone. Like, why are you trying to mess with him? Like, you don't fuck your girl, you know. So. So I miss that friend of mine. I miss all those people. I was part of a lot of different scenes, groups, all from the same school. You know, you meet people in school and stuff, different cities. So yeah, a lot of opportunities with some beautiful women that I could have shared moments with. I even was able to share a sexual moment with a cheerleader from that university. She was in my communications class where we had to do speeches. We had to learn about public speaking. And like I remember I did all three of my presentations on like marijuana. I used to be so faded in that class. And like I guess she liked the trouble, she liked the wild boy or whatever. She was beautiful. Her body was. She was a cheerleader. But I remember like I think after our like sexual encounter we had, I didn't really treat her like my girlfriend after. I didn't disrespect her, but I didn't treat her as my girlfriend. So she just kind of moved on. I remember I used to see her at the university, pass by me, and like she'll be talking to somebody else, like another dude or whatever. I think she even dissed me one time, like about my dick size. And she said something about my dick size. I'm like, oh, okay. I think she got upset because we had sex in my car, and then my cousin showed up. And he was parking right in front of my car, and he didn't see that I was in the car, and I could have waited to see him inside, but I got out the car like pretty much like butt naked, or like with like no shirt on, and so he knew what was going on in the car. I think she didn't like that, and that was stupid of me to do that. So, but she was beautiful. I remember, what was her name? Oh, she was very, very beautiful. She was a cheerleader at the university. It was pretty wild. But I remember I picked the homie up, the homie JC. I think Frog was with us too. Frog and JC. I miss JC. JC's cool, man. He was always cool. Yeah, so I missed all those people, man. I could name them all. I missed that whole time of my life. It was cool. Going to Javad's house, South Central, having get-togethers and shit. I've done a lot of stupid shit, you know, but little homie Lewis, it was cool as fuck. Louis Linares, I know that motherfucker. He's cool. So I'm gonna smoke this. Damn, I feel high already, but I'm not. So I don't know. What am I gonna do after I smoke this? You know what I'm saying? Relocate? Anyway, peace.